Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here on behalf of the Sahrawi people. My name is Farah, and I'm a PhD student at New York University. I'm also a Sahrawi who was born in the refugee camps of Algeria. And like many of us today, I'm here to call your attention on the forever unresolved conflicts of Western Sahara. But first, allow me to go back a little bit in history. In the mid of the 20th century, the Spanish scholar Julio Caro Baroja defined the nomadic character of the Sahrawi people with the following poetic sense. Los saharauis son hijos de las nubes, pues van donde estos vayan. And not without reason, the leading Spanish anthropologists pointed out this relevant mark of the Sahrawi identity, since nomadism is and has always been the center of the spirit and the life of my people. Although the constant displacement was the central element of the Sahrawis, it is not contradictory to say that many had and still have a strong sense of belonging, of being rooted in a territory that was and still is their own. It is well known that during the second colonial expansion of Europe on the African continent, Spain was granted, among other territories, the Western Sahara region. And of course, if there is something we can all agree on, is that if the Spanish colonization was purely managed, its decolonization was even worse. This year marks the 42nd anniversary of the signing of the Madrid Pact, by which Spain transferred the administration of Western Sahara to the governments of Morocco and Mauritania. After the signing of this treaty, the famous Green March, and Mauritania's withdrawal from the conflict, the war between the Polisario Front and the Moroccan forces began, lasting until 1991. In this context, the Moroccan military corps carried out violent measures of looting and bombing that forced many Sahrawi civilians into exile. In their flight to Algeria, country where they found refuge, many of my people were persecuted, tortured, and killed. Those who could escape traveled part of the desert without food or water, and settled in the refugee camps in Algeria, in the Algerian region of Tindouf, where they have been ever since, waiting for a peaceful resolution for their tragic fate. Meanwhile, in the occupied territories, the Moroccan government establishes a strict administrative and media control, the great propagandistic power, and the inflexible information blockade in relation to the Western Sahara issue aims to prevent the Moroccan population and the international community from intervening or knowing what is really happening to the Sahrawi people in this region. At the same time, the Alawi Sultanate created, since its establishment in the territory, a consensus in its national ideology based on the idea that Western Sahara is a fundamental part of Morocco. This discourse, endlessly repeated in the most influential media in the country, is used by the state as an excuse to justify the violent measures of oppression and coercion on those individuals who have different points of view. Therefore, when the occupied territories' police brutality against the Sahrawi people is protected and legitimated by law, a peaceful protest in favor of the Sahrawi self-determination is enough to end up with the demonstrators in prison. With all of this, what I want is to appeal on the referendum of self-determination that was promised to the Sahrawi people 26 years ago, and ask you to take this seriously. It is time for this committee and the UN as an organism for peace and dialogue to demonstrate its credence and its actual function. It is time to call upon the Moroccan government to end its illegal occupation of the Western Sahara. And it's definitely time to stop listening passively to our demands and fix this very prolonged negligence. Thank you.